Hi, and welcome to Nail Theory Series 4 for Tuners London. In this series, we'll be covering manicure. We'll be covering all the theory concepts behind the manicure and not the actual practical video. So, in part 1 of this video, we'll be going over the introduction, the preparation of a manicure and the treatment itself. And then in part 2 of series 4 of manicures, we'll be going through procedure and contractions and aftercare. So let's get started. First, what are the benefits of a manicure? Therapy and relaxation is one of them. Also the confidence boost when you get your nails done. Furthermore, the improved blood circulation, improved skin conditions to the hands, and improved nail conditions. Now, manicures started almost about 5,000 years ago, almost 6,000, initially in India, and henna, which is commonly used on the hands now in weddings, in Indian and Asian weddings, was the first form of coloring. After that, it then spread to China, where an empress would use it and keep long fingernails, and then later to Europe and the Western world. They've now become the most popular treatment within the beauty industry, and it's a therapist's responsibility to take care of your natural nails, hands and arms during the manicure. So let's go to preparation. In preparing for your client for the manicure treatment, it's always important to refer to your cost sheet and cost regulations to understand the types of products you're actually working with. You should always remind yourself of health and safety guidelines as well, and codes of conduct that you might need to follow, whether you're at home or in a salon. The first point of call should always be consultation, so you assess the hands, the nails, the cuticles, and the arms. This will put you in the best position to advise your client on the treatment that they should go for. You should also look for contraindications. Remember, in previous series, this means anything that can stop you or prevent you from carrying out the manicure. So some of the things you should look for: the nails, are they going to be long, short? Are they chipped, cracked, weak, bitten, or discolored? The cuticles, are they thick, overgrown, or cut too much or too soft? And then the hands and arm, are they dry? Are they rough? Are there scars, spots? Is there a reaction already there? That means you cannot operate. Let's move on to working and preparing the working area. So first, you need to ensure the setup is comfortable for both you and the client, that all tools are clean, sterilized, and sanitized, as mentioned in previous series. You also need to make sure you have plenty of towels ready for use, and you have any additional tools around you required for that specific treatment. When you're preparing the client, you need to make sure that they are at the correct height and ensure that they are warm and comfortable. Ask them to remove and safely place any jewelry from their hands into their pockets, just in case it might affect your manicure during the massage process. You then want to sanitize both your hands and the client's hands and check your consultation card before you begin your treatment. So I thought it would be helpful to introduce you to some of the products that we're using in order of which you use them, roughly. First, you have the nail varnish remover. So acetone is commonly used, but acetone-free removers are preferred. That prevents a drying effect that can be less harsh to the nails. You'll also use cuticle remover cream. One thing you do want to make sure is that it's not left on for too long, as it does have a pH scale of around 5.5, and therefore it can leave the skin dehydrated and irritated. So make sure you actually wipe the cuticle area clean after soaking and cutting the cuticle with the cuticle nippers. You also need exfoliator, which is an active ingredient to help with deep cleansing to remove rough and dry skin. Remember, everything that I go through here are just some of the products you may or may not use, depending on your manicure process and your salon or your employer's manicure processes. You also have hand masks. So much like the face mask, they are left on to leave the skin plump and soft when you take them off. You've got the cuticle massage cream, so it's definitely more gentle and also helps soften the cuticles. So it's more of a gentle substance than the cuticle remover. Its main purpose is to moisturize the cuticles. You then have varnishes. So there are varnishes with top coats, base coats, and they all share the same formula to give that flexibility to the product and therefore prevent snapping of the nails or the product when it's under pressure. The varnishes is what actually contains the color. You have base coats, which is generally a very transparent color that's placed onto the nail plate before we actually put on the nail varnish to sort of help hold the color and also prevent your actual nail plate from being stained. You have the top coat, which works and provides a pearly shine to the final finish. It also hardens the top of the varnish so that it can last a little longer. Another ingredient you'll be using is hand cream or hand lotion. So this will be usually used for the massage and leaves the skin nourished with a pleasant smell. So as I said before, in your manicures, you may have a different process depending on where you are or what you decide to do. But in general, these are the few lists of basic equipment that you'll actually need. So the manicure table, the nail files with 240 grit, orange sticks, acrylic nail brush, cuticle pusher, cuticle nippers, buffers, sanitizer, in this case barbicide, antiseptic or alcohol spray. So when starting the manicure, you'll need to file the nails into shape. It's important that you only file in one direction at all times, or where possible, because the soaring action can actually lead to splitting or weakening of the nails. There are several shapes that are quite common, which are listed here, but then you can also go into these crazy shapes, such as lipstick or mountain peak, and then you have stiletto nails, which are pretty long. You also have wide nails, which aren't as common, but the main common ones are here listed. A bit of advice is that if your nails, the client's nails are actually extremely long, then use clippers to reduce the length instead of filing. Where your client has no preference for the shape, use the shape of the cuticle guidance. That's a pretty good tip, so I'll highlight that. Also, generally, if your client doesn't know which shape to go for, try go for square nails if you can, because they'll create a strong nail plate because of the wider surface, and therefore the side breaks can be avoided. Okay, so filing the nail. Use a 240 grit file. Use rhythmical strokes and file sides to the center. If fingers are long and thin, then suggest a rounded square shape and kept short. So that's a bit of a tip you can use when you're advising your client. If your fingers are short and wide, then opt to keep the nails longer with an oval shape. So cuticle work. After the hand soak has actually washed away the dirty particles from the free edge and softens the cuticle, you need to carry out cuticle work. This will help keep the cuticle area attractive and create more space. Accidents may happen, so you need to make sure that you're able to wipe with a lint-free wipe and put on antiseptic spray. With practice, you should be able to get better and accidents should reduce. Also, using the correct technique could get you a good cuticle cut without any accidents. You will also need to buff the nail. So buffers usually have 3 or 4 sides. One side is less abrasive and should be facing the cuticle when buffing. That's a good point here. So benefits of buffing: reduces stain on nails, can help the nails grow healthily, increases oxygen and nutrients brought to the nails, smooths out ridges, and creates a shine. So the treatment itself. So manicure massage. A full deluxe or luxury manicure, or depending on where the manicure is, involves a massage of the hand and arm, and is often the most enjoyable part. It's not simply just rubbing lotion, but increasing the blood flow to the joints. There should be a correct routine to follow for all massages. What are the benefits? So the benefits are that it relieves tension in the muscles and joints, stimulates blood flow in the lymphatic system and the blood system, helps the client relax, and acts as a form of stress relief. And lastly, nourishes the skin to leave it soft and smooth when you're using the lotion. So the 3 main movements of massage you need to familiarize yourself with. Firstly is the effleurage, which is a light movement. And you usually begin and end a manicure with this. Very little pressure is required. You then have the press-recharge, which is a deeper movement that will stretch, squeeze, and release the muscles. Slightly more pressure, but it still is light. And then you have friction, which is a much deeper movement, usually requiring circular motions. And it's usually used in the fingers and the thumbs. Massages do need to be adapted. So if you're working with a male client, if they do have a lot of hair on their arms, then you should opt for oil instead of cream, just to prevent the hair dragging. And you'll also need to be a bit firmer because they're likely to be more muscular and have firmer skin or thicker skin. Skin condition. So if a client already has an oily skin, then avoid putting too much lotion on. If it lacks elasticity, say for example aged skin or stretched skin, then avoid stretching the skin too much. With older clients, skin becomes thinner and less supple, so again, avoid stretching and avoid too much pressure. In any case, always check with the client and ask how does that feel. As mentioned before, not all of these treatments will actually be used in your manicure. So this one's quite fancy. It's paraffin wax, and it's usually used by luxury spa manicures. It's basically made up of petroleum jelly and beeswax and is solid at room temperature. So contraindication to paraffin wax, i.e. where can you not use paraffin wax? If there's any nail diseases, skin infections, allergy to the products, recent scar tissue, bruising or open cuts. The benefits are that it rehydrates the skin, relaxes tensions in the muscles, and can help improve inflamed joints. So, application: what equipment is needed? You need a paraffin wax heater, polythene wax bag, and a towel and a mitt. Of course, at any time if you feel this video is going too fast for you, then please pause and take down notes. So the procedure: first you need to place the wax, turn the wax heater on, allowing the paraffin wax to actually heat. You need to apply cream and oil to the hands. Test the wax itself on your wrist and ask the client to test the temperature on their fingers. Supporting the client's hand, you want to apply the wax with a mask brush, generally over the entire hands, including the front and back. Cover the hand in a polythene bag and wrap in a towel. Repeat on the other hand. Leave it for a few minutes, so 10 to 15. Eventually after, you want to glide off the polythene bag and the wax will come off with it. Any residue should be wiped lightly with a towel. You then apply cuticle oil and massage in the excess cream. Manicure mask is quite similar. So it's a lightweight mask that can also come in gel form. It's applied to the hands as far as the wrist. You then wrap it in film or place in hand liners or heated mitts, or you can wrap them in warm towels. Leave them for 10 minutes and then remove the wrap and rub off any excess mask with a damp sponge. So continue on treatments, the varnish itself and painting the nails. So the nails should actually be painted in 3 strokes, maybe possibly 4. So firstly down the center, then down the right and left side, and possibly again on the center. You'll always require 2 paints of coat. It's very important that you leave a small gap around the cuticles and the side of the nails so that the polish doesn't overflow. It's almost like a hair thin line. So the styles of polish, the traditional, which is coloring the whole plate. The French is just the free edge. And then you have the free lunula, which is almost covering the whole paint, the nails, except for the lunula. Nail polish should be stored in cool and dark places, and the cap should be kept on tight and clean. So there's contraindications to the nail polish. If there's an allergy or disease disorder around the nail plate, then you cannot go ahead with the nail polish. A lot of the times nails do chip, and these are the reasons why, so it's worth noting that. Sometimes the polish isn't thick enough because overthinning of the solvent. No base coat was used. Grease was left on the nail prior to painting. So you need to use acetone or dehydrated for that. The nail plate is flaking, or polish was dried too quickly. Remember, before applying the polish, you should always ask the client to put jewelry back on their fingers to avoid smudging. Now, reasons for peeling. So that was the reasons for chipping. So successive coats were not allowed to dry between applications. The polish was too thick. The grease was again left on the plate, or no top coat was used. So that's quite a lot, and that's it for today. So what we've gone over in this video is introduction to manicures, where they started, preparation, how to prepare your client, yourself, and what equipment's needed, and then some of the treatments that you might do. In part 2 of this series 4 video on manicures, we'll be going through the procedure, so the step-by-step process of using a manicure, carrying out manicure, and some contractions and aftercare advice that you might give to your client. Now remember, when we go through this, it isn't a hardline rule to follow, but it's more of a guidance. So I hope you enjoyed this video on nail theory on manicures, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.